Alright guys, there's been a lot of questions about the motorcycle turntable. I couldn't figure out how to post a picture, so we get a video. So what I did, I started off with 4 pieces of 3/4 inch 4 foot by 8 foot plywood. I crossed them up, making an 8 foot by 8 foot square. I glued and screwed that together, weighted it down, let it dry overnight. The plywood's going to want to warp, put a lot of weight on it, keep it from doing that. You find your center point measuring in, and you can draw a 7 foot radius, 7'6" radius all the way around. And then you locate your center point, which will be your pivot pin. And 180 degrees from each other, you can do a lock pin. Now these will be holes you drill in your garage floor, 1/2 inch holes going down 2-3 inches. I just used bolts from Home Depot that I could drop in for the center pin, for the pivot, and for your lock pins. You only need 1 hole in the turntable for the lock pins, but you'll need 2 holes in the concrete below, so when you rotate it around, it hits both holes. You don't want to use the turntable without a lock pin. If you do, when you go to drive off, this thing will rotate on you and it'll throw you on the ground. So once you have your pin lined up, drill a hole in it, you set a jigsaw 45-degree angle, and you cut this radius out. That jigsaw will do it. That's how I did mine up on some sawhorses. Then, from Amazon, you got to order a 12-inch Lazy Susan turntable, 1,000-pound capacity. That's about $38. And then you can order these Bayite low-profile casters. I ordered 12 of them. You get 4 for $10.79 on Amazon. You're going to space those evenly around your radius, and you can drill through that first layer of plywood. You could do that before you cut it, before you glue them together. Layout's just a little bit harder, but you're basically going to drill through that first layer of 3/4. You're going to recess these 1-inch high casters underneath this upper layer of plywood, and I'm showing that here. That's your upper layer of plywood, lower layer of plywood. There's your Lazy Susan bearing, which will get screwed in, and these are your casters, which go through the first layer of plywood and are screwed to your second. When you drop your center pin through into your concrete floor, everything will just rotate. And you do have to have your lock pins so that you pull it up and it'll stabilize so this thing doesn't move. You have to have the center pin into the concrete, or when you drive on this thing, it'll move, it'll shift. So the pins are very important to get in. Basement concrete floors are usually 4 to 6 inches thick, so going in 2 inches don't hurt anything. But you may have to shim that Lazy Susan bearing right here to be the same height as these casters sticking out of the concrete. Out of the wood, so that everything is nice and even. But that's how you build it. 7'6" outside, and I could park 2 motorcycles here. And what you do is you drive 1 motorcycle in, lean it on its side stand, rotate it around, so the motorcycle's here leaning to your right. Then you can drive your other motorcycle in, lean it on this side, so they're leaning apart from each other. And it rotates well. I thought about putting a motor to this, but it's just too much work, and I don't feel like putting that big of a hole in my basement floor, in my garage floor. So 4 sheets of 3/4 inch 4x8 plywood, glues and screws, a Lazy Susan bearing, and 12 low profile casters. I used the Bayites from Amazon. Alright guys, if you make one, post a video of it, let me see. Thanks. Bye bye.